Going on now to topic 3 of chapter 2. We're going to be working with formulas. Now, formulas show relationships. They're equations that show relationships. And here is one that we use often. It's interest formula. Interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. But they're asking here to solve for the letter P. Well, this is P times R times T. So to get rid of these factors, we just divide these factors out. So we're going to divide this side by the RT and this side by the RT. Here they cancel out and just become a 1. So principal now is equal to interest divided by rate times time. Okay, let's have you work on this next one. Again, you want to solve for a positive x. Now, there's more than one way to solve, but I would suggest you take your negative 2x, because you want your x to be positive, and just move it over to this side where it becomes a positive. And you want to get rid of the 3 that's on this side. So on this side, it would become a negative 3. And there's your 5y. So all I did is transpose the negative 2x and then the 3. Now we're going to divide both sides by 2. Now I could put it all over 2 or each term over 2, like so. So here the 2's cancel out and we get x equals 5 halves y minus 3 halves. Now you could have all written it 5y minus 3 all over 2, but this is an acceptable way. Now for this next one, I would suggest you make a rectangle, and you're dealing with perimeter. So the total perimeter is going to be 542 yards. And it says the width must be 52. What we don't know then is what must the length be. So these are our lengths. Now, what would be helpful here is the perimeter formula, which is perimeter equals 2 lengths plus 2 widths. So we already know the perimeter. What we don't know is the 2L here, but we know our 2 widths. We could put it this way. All right, so have a go and see what you can come up with. So 104, subtract 104 from both sides. I get on this side 438, divide both sides by 2. I now have my length here is going to be 219. Now notice we've shown the work step by step. Hopefully you see how it's organized. We use the diagram to help, and it's quite easy to check and support what you've done. Now, looking at this next one, we have the area of a trapezoid is 70 square meters. It has one of its bases a 5 and the other a 9, but we don't know the height. So one of the things they're asking us here is to pick out from all these formulas which would be the correct formula. So let's review them a little bit together. This is the interest formula. This is a formula we would use to convert Fahrenheit and Celsius. This is the perimeter of a square. This would be perimeter of a rectangle. This is the area formula, where it's base times the height. If we had a parallelogram, where this would be the base, and then this would be the height. So it's a modification of the regular formula for area that we run into of a rectangle. Area equals length times width. Now this one is perimeter of a triangle that has three sides. This would be circumference of a circle. And you might remember area of a circle. Area equals pi r squared. And this is the formula for the one we're featuring here, the trapezoid. Now, the first thing they want us to do is what would be the formula once you solve for the letter H? All right, we'll do this one together. Copy it in your notes. And the first thing we would do, get rid of fractions. So this is all one term actually, and this is one term. So we're going to multiply this side by a 2 and this side by a 2. So the 2's cancel out, and I can use my eraser to get rid of that then. So this is what we have. Now to get rid of the b plus c, because this is h times this, I can just divide the b plus c out. I could put parentheses there if I want or not. And then now these cancel out. And the formula then that I'd use would be h equals 2a divided by b plus c. Now that we've solved for the formula, we can do our substitution. Well, we knew the area was 70, so 2 times 70 is 140. And we know our bases are 5 and 9, so that's 14. So our height, and 14 goes into 140 10 times. So the answer to the second part of this is the height equals 10. All right, lots of stuff in this one. All right, now for number 5, we're going to look at the total amount of money in an account with P dollars invested is given by this formula, where R is the rate expressed as a decimal and T is the time in years. So let's set this up together, then we'll give you a chance to work it. So A will equal 1788. I didn't make a very good one there. Plus 1788. Now 24% ends up as a decimal point 24. Now the next part is a little tricky because they're saying 30 months. Well, there's 12 months in a year, so 30 over 12 would result in, we can put it as a fraction. This is going to be, I could take a 6 out of there and get 5, a 6 out of there and get 2, but I can leave that as a decimal 2.5. 2 goes in the 5 twice with a half left over. So this is what you're going to put in your calculator. I would do this part first, and then I would just add that to it, and let's see what you get for an answer. So $2,860.80. Not a bad investment. We'll do this next one together. So R equals, I'm going to clear the parenthesis, 2x minus 22 divided by 9. And you want to solve for the x. Well, one of the techniques you may or may not remember is that you can cross multiply in something like this. So 1 times this is just this, and multiplying crosswise here, this becomes 9r equals 2x minus 22. So I'm going to isolate the 2x on this side by transposing the negative 22, and I get 9r plus 22 equals my 2x. Now divide both sides by 2. And instead of putting it over each one, I could leave it like this too. That would be okay. So 9r plus 22 all over 2. All right, not too bad. Again, a couple of techniques that you may or may not be familiar with. Let's go on. All right, for this one, we have a parallelogram. So which formula did we say? Looking through our list, it would be this one down here. I think I'm going to go back to red. I like red. And we have then area equals base times height. They want us to solve for the letter we're looking for. And we need the height. Well, we have the area is 70. We know the base is 5. So substituting, we just divide both sides by 5. And we get the height is, let's see, 10 and 4 would be 14. And that would be the answer to this one. Now, if we were solving for the formula, I meant to do that actually. That would be A equals BH. Just divide out the B that you don't need from this side. And H equals that. That's basically what we did. But be careful what they're asking. Often they'll ask you to solve just for the unknown letter first, and then do the substitution.